What you are about to hear is a real message from one of my subscribers. My name does not matter, but I need you to listen to me. I need someone to believe what happened in my house last Tuesday. It was a rainy afternoon, and I was desperately trying to fold a massive pile of laundry and cook dinner at the exact same time. My 4-year-old daughter was getting restless and cranky, so I did what millions of exhausted parents do every single day. I handed her the tablet, opened a streaming app, and put on Gabby's Dollhouse. It is supposed to be the safest, most innocent show on the entire internet. I set her down on the living room rug where she was totally mesmerized. I stayed in the kitchen just a few feet away, keeping an ear on the show while I chopped vegetables. From the kitchen, I could hear the familiar upbeat music playing, the bright live action. Gabby smiled at the camera and prepared to unbox her daily surprise from the Meow Meow mailbox. But as I stood there chopping, I noticed that the music sounded just a little bit off. It was slightly out of tune, like an old cassette tape warping in the sun. I wiped my hands on a towel, peeked around the corner, and looked at the screen. The afternoon light coming through the window suddenly felt cold and gray. I saw the item Gabby pulled out of the plastic chute. It was not a fun little toy or a colorful craft. It was a heavy, rotting wooden box, wrapped tightly in thick, rusted iron chains. The live-action Gabby did not seem to notice how dark and menacing the object was. She just smiled her usual bright smile, put on her cat ears, and began the famous shrinking song. But as Gabby sang, the audio began to severely distort. The cheerful music slowed down, dropping into a deep, heavy bass that actually made our kitchen floor vibrate. I immediately dropped my towel and walked straight toward the living room. My daughter was not singing along like she usually did. She was sitting perfectly still, frozen and staring wide-eyed at the glass screen. I reached out to grab the tablet from her small hands, but before my fingers could even touch the device, the screen violently flashed jet black. There was dead silence in the living room for 3 agonizing seconds. And then the animation finally loaded. I froze in pure absolute terror. The bright, colorful, magical world was entirely gone. The sky behind the dollhouse was a dark, boiling blood red filled with twitching shadows and falling ash, and the beloved characters had changed into something straight out of a horror movie. Gabby stood in the dead center of the screen, but her face was covered in deep, fractured cracks like a broken porcelain doll. The Gabby cats were even worse. Pandy Paws stood right next to her, completely covered in thick dark blood. He was holding that chained wooden box with a manic dead stare. Cakey the little cupcake cat was rotting and mutating with multiple mismatched eyes and dark red icing oozing down his face, looking exactly like real thick blood. The other cats hovered in the background, looking rabid, violent, and completely deformed. It was a scene of absolute horror, specifically designed to traumatize a child. The animated Gabby slowly turned her glowing red eyes away from my little girl and looked directly up at me. She broke the fourth wall. She stepped closer to the camera, and she did not use her normal cheerful voice. She spoke in a raspy, echoing adult whisper that filled our entire living room. She looked right into my eyes and said, "We have a special box just for you, Mommy." I screamed, grabbed the heavy tablet, and slammed it face down onto the hardwood floor, shattering the glass into 100 pieces. The shards of glass cut into my hand, but I did not even care. My little girl immediately burst into hysterical tears. It took me hours to calm her down and convince her that the monsters were finally gone and that she was safe. Later that night, after my daughter finally cried herself to sleep, I carefully turned the broken tablet back on. I spent the next few weeks contacting customer support and searching hidden parenting forums to see if anyone else had experienced this absolute nightmare. The streaming service sent me a generic automated email claiming it must have been a temporary visual glitch, but a visual glitch does not speak to you. A visual glitch does not know you are a mother. Was the network hacked by a twisted predator wanting to traumatize innocent families? Or did our tablet briefly tune into a dark digital dimension that was never meant to be seen? I am writing this to you because I need parents to know the